Hello. Okay, let's talk Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. All right. What I like to do anytime I do any kind of math is I like to lay out the numbers that I have in the formula first before moving forward. So let's define our formula here. So I'm going to pick this as side A down here. The tree I'm going to make side B, and then side C, I'm going to make our hypotenuse from this cute little squirrel's point down to there. So 3 meters plus 6 meters is 9 meters, right? So we know our bottom length here. We know part of our 10 meters, or we know part of our hypotenuse. So we only know some of C right now. We have to calculate for this first. But that's not too bad because we can do this again here. We can go a miniature one here. We know that this is going to be our A here. I'll make the text smaller because it's going to be a small. This is our mini A. And then this is our mini B. And we solve first for our mini C so that we know we can find out what this distance is here. This one from here across to here. That space, because then once we know that space, we can add this distance to this distance, and then we'll have our full distance. Hopefully you're following already. A squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. You can just do this math as we go along. So 3 times 3. I like to do them just in brackets here. We don't really need to go too much more. Actually, I'll do this for us. So A, so we'll do A times A times A is, and B times B are equal to C times C. So we got 3 times 3 and 4 times 4 are equal to 9. 9 is 9 plus 16. 9 plus 16, so 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16, is equal to C times C. So what is 9 plus 16? 25 is equal to C squared. So that's C times C. Well, if we do our square root calculator, so yeah, we can do 3 times 3 is equal to 9. 4 times 4 is equal to 16. Plus 9, 25. And then I'll just use this one here, this button for square root. It gives us 5. So C is now equal to 5. The square root of 25 is 5. Okay. So we can go back over to our original thing here. And we now know that this distance here is 5 meters for C. 5 meters. So then now we know, now we can move on to the second step. Or so now we can complete our second step. So for the total, so if C here is equal to 5, then we have 10 meters in this, and then this distance is equal to 5. So we have 10. So our total hypotenuse is equal to 10 meters plus 5 meters, the number we calculated. So is equal to 15 meters. So we know that. Cool. So now we can move on to our next step. Yeah. So we plugged in it. We lay out what we know. We plugged in our numbers. We used the formula, and we added our hypotenuses together. So now we have the full length. So I'm just going to take another copy of this little image here, and I'm going to carry it forward in our work here. So now knowing what we know, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, we can plug in the numbers we have. So this whole length now, I'll just mark that out, we know we have calculated is, I'll do a little arrow, little arrow, little arrow, little arrow. This value is 15 meters. And unfortunately, I can't rotate my text, but we can just do that. So this is that. No, sorry, a times a plus b times b is equal to c times c. And we can plug in the numbers we have. For a, we know that it's 3 meters plus, actually we already did that work, it's 9 meters there, 9 meters up here, so we know that it's, now it's 9 times 9 plus the unknown b times the unknown b will give us c times c, which we calculated before. It's 15 meters, so we go 15 times 15. Here we are on the step 2 of our problem solving. We know, we lay out what we know, we've plugged them into our formula, and then now we have to move on to a trickier algebra step. So bear with me. Let's just do this math here. We have 89 times 9 is equal to 81, plus our b times b, which we don't know, and 15 times 15 is 225. We'll double check. Yeah, cool. So here's, I remember algebra being really tough for me. I had a lot of trouble really getting it to stick in my head, but I found a couple rules really helped make things stick. One of these rules works perfectly in this situation, and it's what I call flipping. Oof. So if 225 is equal to 81, so 225 here is equal to 81 plus b times b, right? That is the same as saying 225 minus 81 is equal to b times b. Now, I'll just go over this once more because it's a lot like how flipping double negatives in English sentences work. I didn't not punch my brother is the same thing as saying I punched my brother. So if we flip the sentence, if we flip both of these things on the side of the equation, all we have to do is flip our operator. What was once a plus sign can now be a negative sign on the other side of the equation. It confused me too. It took a while, but it's one of these rules which I found if you trust it, it will work out. And um, so I'll just go again. 81 plus some amount is equal to 225. So we can say that same sentence again. 81 plus b times b is equal to 225. Now, let's just flip it. So b times b is equal to 225 minus 81. Sorry. Oh my God, this is kind of rambly. This is actually quite harder than I thought it would be. So if 81 plus some amount is equal to 225, we can also say that 225 minus 81 will be equal to some amount. And 225 minus 81 is 144 is equal to b times b. Let's just make sure. So 225 minus 81, 144. Now, we can go back to our formula here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Can also be said the square root of a squared plus b squared is equal to c. So we can just flip this. We'll take our b and we bring it over there. We can take the rest of this and bring it down here, except we're flipping it, right? So we, instead of a plus, we need a minus. And because we're solving for b, we need our c. Other than that, everything else is the same. And now we have our formula to work with. Let's just bring it down here so we can see it. So we'll put our b times b on this side. So b times b is going to be equal to 144. Nothing's changed, but 144 is a squared minus b squared. We did that up here. So all we need is the square root of 144. So I'm just going to do one of these, just draw one of these little lines here. That'll look like a square root. Square root of 144. 144 square rooted 12. So that means we're also getting rid of our square on this side, right? So technically if we square that, we get a single b. We're just removing the b times itself. So we get b is equal to 12. Cool. So that's 12 meters over here. And now we can double check our work. Do it this way. A times A plus B times B is equal to C times C. So A is 9 times 9 plus B, which we solved for, is 12 times 12. What does that equal? 9 times 9, 81. So just for demonstration purposes, let's just do that. 81 plus, and we did this earlier, but 144, or sorry, 12 times 12, 144 is equal to 144 plus 81, 225. 225, and the square root of 225 is, we square it, 15. And that's confirms our solution.